I do like that saying, sort of preparation is separation, sort of the idea that a talented player doesn't always win. The best athlete doesn't always come in first. Um, those who can prepare the mind for what will happen at some point during that competition, if it's a legit sort of head-to-head competition, is that, as you say, the mind will look for trouble. The mind will start to pump out messages. I call it mind chatter. And by
Mm-hmm.
mind chatter, I mean doubts, second guessing, and negative thinking. And what I want that athlete to do on the tennis court is, instead of thinking, oh my God, I can't believe I'm having these thoughts again, I want them to, because we've prepared for this and we know how the mind works, it always shows up in these high stakes endeavors like a tennis competition. I want them to be able to sort of welcome it in. It's sort of a welcome, unwelcome guest that's knocking on the door. And instead of trying to like keep the door shut, I want them to say more like, I knew you'd be here. Of course you're here.
Mm-hmm.
And I go through a lot of preparation with my athletes about getting them to make room for chatter versus thinking I can't think certain thoughts, because if I think certain thoughts, that means I'm doomed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just on with an athlete this morning who said, the biggest lesson I've taken from you, Dr. Greene, is that I can have those chattery thoughts and still play well. And for a lot of athletes, those chattery thoughts come and they've decided, and the chatter's decided that it's game over.
Mm-hmm.
And so what it really comes down to, Patricia, a lot is not necessarily what those thoughts say, but what those thoughts do is that they ruin the athlete's focus. So an athlete goes from thinking about their game plan, for example, about coming to the net or having a big kick serve, and all of a sudden they forget everything that they're focused on and supposed to be focused on. And so the chatter does all kinds of damage. But the good news is, if you prepare for it and you know how to manage it, and instead of thinking it can't come because it's a sign of something wrong, you say, when it comes, here's how I'm going to respond. Athletes start to feel like they can play more like themselves again.